Brijesh Kitchen Public. Sorry?
It's time, I think we can start.
Yes.
Let people join.
Absolutely.
Yes, please.
So, hi friends, welcome this Sunday morning. This is your friend Neeraj Bharadwaj, and I welcome all the business leaders today on this session. So, something about me and Blue Wisdom as a team of consultant. I'm coach, trainer, and with corporate training, I'm associated. Did my MBA and PGDSM in sales and marketing. Also featuring two IANs, Nirba and Micah. Uh, with me, Mr. Shubhang Roturi, also officially on board of Blue Wisdom, my NIS old colleague. And he is the one who has created wonderful outbound programs, battlefield simulations and all. And in Blue Wisdom team, we have our senior consultant, Anika Vyas. Anika Vyas is already here in this webinar. And has already conducted some sessions, and she is going to continue a few more. Yilpa Bhatt is also on the board, and I keep a photo or two photos, not in the Blue Wisdom, but as one is my guru, Mr. Vivek Mehrotra. By the way, today he is one of the speakers as well, and one of my very old buddy and friend, Mr. Srinivas Bhutt, from Toronto, Canada. He wonderfully he gave very good session last week. And Blue Wisdom is an organization with a couple of few clients where we are working, like Apollo, Coca-Cola, Snapdeal, Flipkart, Adani groups, and from the government organizations like Gujarat Gas, GSPC, GSFC, GNFC, and all that. So trying to learn about the balance, but so far I have seen the imbalances, and I find that imbalances are normal. Imbalances could be about the emotions, relation, role, expectations, balance. But the job, it could be financial imbalances, needs, and all. And while I was digging more and thinking that how to strike a balance, I think balance, rather than that, it is about understanding what degree of imbalance is all about, and I'm okay with the imbalances unless it is not very critical. So there's some scale, and beyond that scale is, I think, we should be careful about. So some of the webinars which we started in this opportunity, first one was with Nehal Shah, a great leader, senior vice president and business head with Light Microfinance, and he spoke on Operation Excellence, and it was a wonderful session. Then we had Mr. Sadendra Gaur, who is head human resources with Adani Gas. Today he's also attending the webinar, and he wonderfully and very interestingly talked about the coping with the change, where he could give a ready-made recipe in a phased manner that what can be done right now immediately, what can be done sometime, and what can be done on the long term. So identify the issues, attaching the criticality, and then he could give some wonderful tools to deal with the change. So, and I am looking for more such sessions by Mr. Sadendra Gaur. Mr. Anup Bhatt is the National Manager Supply Chain Transformation from Coca-Cola. Look, all of these are not trainer by profession. They are not coach or consultant, but then they were sharing their functional skills and the real issues of their organizations, and they could really give very good tips. Like this session was very much liked by the people on supply chain transformation and operation excellence. And it was so much like that people are asking for more of the tools which he just mentioned but could not explain in detail because of the webinar times are limited. And again, as I said, my friend Mrs. Srinivas Bhutt from Toronto speak on rebuilding life and the new normal. It was very, very interesting session. He's purely a business professional, not a trainer, not a coach, but something he was sharing his own journey and success. He was my, flatmate kind of thing. We were living in front of each other in one room compartment, opposite to each other. So from this kind of socio-economic condition, he could grow up to creating a wealth of about 800 crore So that's what he was sharing, that how to stay focused and manage the intangible assets. Mr. Asan Rao, who is managing partner with CIEL HR Services, formerly known as Mafoi, and also he was HR head with IIM Ahmedabad. Last Sunday, he spoke on work-life balance and coping with a change. Very interesting topic, and the way he conducted his own style really made the session very, very much interesting and enriching. We learned, we made notes on from his session and webinar. So great. Today we are all fortunate. I'm so much excited and happy because we have Mr. Vivek Malhotra. Vivek Malhotra is just not a personality, but more than anything, for me, he's my guru, he's my mentor, he's my friend, and everything, So Mr. Vivek Malhotra is coach and author, and you can also find a lot of details about him on his own website, that is www.vivekmalhotra.com. So I welcome Vivek on his session, Leadership in Times of Uncertainty. But before that, let me give a little introduction about Vivek. Vivek is an accomplished author and HR journalist, a passionate L&D professional, and a coach. Some of the organized industries he's worked for are like pharmaceutical, telecom, retail, e-commerce, BFSI, and consumer service. Some of the organizations which I remember: Zomato, Flipkart, Reliance Retail, Torrent, Pharma, he has worked for. He has a distinction of having Shri Narendra Modi, the Honorable Prime Minister. Then he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, with his cabinet colleagues, an entire team of IS officers from across the state of Gujarat as his audience. So that was a great moment. I recall this very well. They call it Chintan Shivir, which Narendra Modi used to conduct. Vivek has delivered a guest lecture at various academic institutions, including IIMs and Delhi School of Economics, to name a few. Vivek, as he mentioned, has already written various books, and he continued to do this thing because writing is his passion. Vivek has written so far about 5 books on variety of the topics. So don't want to be more between you and Vivek. So handing over the session to Vivek, and for this I will stop sharing my screen, and I would request Vivek to be there. Hi Vivek, we all welcome you.
Hi, thank you, Neeraj. Thanks a lot for your gracious introduction. And good to know the kind of audience that we have. And I'm sure all of us are going to enjoy these discussions.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, I think you can see my
Yes, it
screen.
is quite clear, visible, yes.
So before we start, if we can have a grid look so that at least I can see some of the participants who are there.
Yes, so everybody is requested to show up. So if you really want to, so please come live on your, so you can switch on your camera. Ved Chaturvedi, you're looking so handsome and fresh this morning. Manoj, Maurya, Dinesh, Masuria, smiling, young man, and the broad smile of Brijesh. Kishan, you should start modeling now. You're looking very handsome. Deepak Goswami, good to see you, Deepak, after a long time. Ajay Vaisham Panay, hi, welcome. So some of these faces. We also have Ashish. Hi, Ashish. Yes.
Good to see Raghu after a long time.
Yes. And Raghunandan Gaur. Hi, Raghu. That's great. So after a long time, it's really good to see those faces,
So good to see you all, and let's begin.
And now I can also request all the others to mute your mic so that the voice quality is good. Over to you, Vivek.
Thank you, Neeraj. So, well, friends, a very good morning and welcome to the session. We know that webinar, in fact, Neeraj has already instructed all of us to be on mute, but I understand that there is a limitation in this kind of virtual sessions. However, in order to keep it interactive, I would request, as and when, I would ask you to put your thoughts in the chat box so that at least we can understand each other's viewpoint. So please do use that. And then, of course, there are reactions which are there. If you see that I am echoing your thoughts, show me a thumbs up, or wherever you feel like clapping, please do clap. On the right side bottom, you can see that reaction wherein you can get all these signals.
So let us try. I tried clapping.
Great. I'm not seeing my chat box. Neeraj?
Yeah, I can see the chat box. Yeah, I can see the chat box.
Okay, you have to give me the access.
No, for chat box, there's always access. Anybody can see that, even including you. I don't know. Let me see. I will.
Just a minute. Yeah, it has come now. Cool.
No? Okay, fine.
Cool. So thank you. So, well, friends, as Neeraj has already introduced, the topic is leadership in times of uncertainty. The very purpose of choosing this topic is this, that this is the most uncertain time that we have seen in our life, I suppose. It is unseen, unheard, unimaginable kind of situation that we have came across, that for 3 months, the entire world has come to a virtual halt. There cannot be a more uncertain time than this. And that's where I thought that as a leader, what we are supposed to do in this kind of time, and that's where the thought has come of this topic. So just to give you a small coverage like what we are going to cover in this, the first point that we are going to discuss is what to do during the uncertain time. And this is not true only for the leader, but this is for all of us, because we have to take care of us and our near ones in this uncertain time. And then, of course, from there, we will move on as to what is good for us. No doubt it is a difficult time, but is difficult time good for us, or the good time is good for us? We will discuss that. And moving on, we will discuss some of the best leadership practices which are required every time, not only in uncertain time, but even in certain times they are required. So they will certainly be required in uncertain time as well. And then I think there cannot be a, VUCA word that we have heard a lot. And this is the most appropriate time, I think we are in that. But do you see a mistake there? If you see a spelling mistakes, please do write, I think I made a mistake. Please put the right word in the chat box.
Right word for VUCA?
Yeah, if you see any spelling mistakes there.
Word or world?
Yeah. So that is what you are saying is, in fact, purposely I have mentioned the word because VUCA is an acronym created by the American Army after their Cold War was over. And that is where they have created this. Now this VUCA, I'm sure all of us are aware of. So as Vandana rightly says that the word is right, but that means word is wrong there. But I have purposely written this word because VUCA is an acronym. And acronyms are basically all the abbreviations which are spoken as a word. So we will be seeing that we, so far, whatever meaning we understand of VUCA, how can we change to our benefit? And from there, we will move on to an action plan that can help us to lead in this uncertain time effectively. So this is what, and towards the end of the session, I would love to have the questions and I'll try my best to satisfy your queries. So that is about the coverage. Now, I think this is what we were talking about, that, it was never even imaginable that there will be a lockdown. We have heard the curfews earlier, which was there for 2 days in a particular area of the city, which was there for a few days. But we never heard this kind of situation where the country or the world has come to a halt. Now, the first thing is that uncertainty brings is the fear. I'm sure all of us have heard this thing. And Absolutely. We have, even in the past also, we had the time, uncertain times in our life when we felt some fear. But the difference then and today is that earlier it was either professional, means maybe that we have lost our job. Maybe there was an uncertain times in the company. Maybe the company has winded up the business, or maybe something was happening in our professional lives, or it could be something was happening in our personal life. Maybe that somebody is not well, we lost some dear one, somebody met with an accident, somebody is in the hospital, and then we are very uncertain that what will happen to that, even to our own self. But this uncertainty, the both things have come together. We are uncertain about our professional job, that what will happen tomorrow. Because every day we keep listening, this company has laid off so many, this company has laid off so many. So we think, in my company, when it will come. In the companies where the laid off has already been taken place, people, really fear that when my name, now they have never been laid off, but then they still face that tomorrow there may be a third list, my name will come. So there is a fear about that. At the same time, there is fear, personal fear is that nothing can be more fearful than the death. Because
Yes.
COVID, it is created so much of nuisance that everywhere there is a name of death, that people are worried about. So it is an uncertain time, and that is where we have to live with, because we can't. So question is what to do, because we have to now live with this. And if we have to live with this, at this moment, I will introduce a concept which has really helped me in my life. And I'm sure most of you must be knowing about this. If you know, I would expect you to please write in the chat box, yes. And if you are not, then please do write as a no. So this is the circle of influence. Very common topic. I'm sure most of you must be knowing. So please write, if you know it, please write yes. And if you do not, please write no. So I see 2 years have already come. Brijesh, Vrandana. I request others as well. Raghu, yes. Kishan, yes. Very good. How about others? Can I request you to put your feedback as well? That will help me to tailor my presentation to you. So Manoj says yes. Danish, no. Vishal says yes. So good. Anika says yes. So good. Majority of us are aware, but the issue in human life is this, that knowing is one thing and doing is another. So we might be knowing, but then are we practicing this? But for the benefit of those who have written no, so majority is saying yes. So very good. Dr. Lata also said yes. Ashish says yes. Jaspal says yes. So very good. We are knowing, but that is where we know that there are certain things in our control that we can control. Then there are certain things that we can influence. Now, what we can control is only ourselves. We can't even control our immediate family. We can't even control our spouses. And the whole issue in our life is that we keep trying controlling others. Instead of controlling ourselves, we keep trying controlling others, and that leads to these issues. Of course, we cannot control our near one, but we can certainly influence them. The people who are around us, people in our immediate family, people in our society, in our community, everywhere we can have an influence, but we cannot control them. However, there are a lot of things where we do not have any influence. For example, take the corona. Now, every day we are getting so many WhatsApp messages, so many Facebook messages, and so many things that we are listening about this, and we keep talking and keep discussing about that. I know this thing, but yesterday evening, there's a friend of mine and who started discussing. At one point, I had to cut short, and I said that let's not talk about this further, because we cannot do anything. Now people, they keep talking about this is an American conspiracy, or this is a China conspiracy. All those things are not going to help. But what we can certainly control, which we have in our control, is, because if we continue to discuss all these things, this area will become very large and we will be lost in that jungle of no influence. Whereas if we start working on the area that are in our control, for example, we can control our safety measures, whatever, like say social distancing, wearing mask, keeping hygiene, keeping sanitization, all those things that we can do it for ourselves, that is more than enough. Beyond that, let's forget about the corona. In fact, just to share with you, I have stopped going in that room wherein I had a TV. I even don't open the TV. I have another TV wherein I watch on Amazon or this Netflix, whatever I want to see. But then these national channels, because they are only pumping you that everything will be wiped out. For example, few months back, like say 1 month back, Italy was to be, vanished from the planet Earth. But today there is no news, as if everything is hunky-dory or everything has gone out. So the whole message is that let's control things that we can control. So we should only worried about this. In fact, somewhere like they say the circle of influence, they also call it circle of concern and circle of influence. So there is a circle of influence and circle of concern. So there is no need, there is no point in spending time there. Whatever we can do. Yes, Naveen, you are very right. You say very true. So let's practice. Let's control only those things that we can control, and things will become much better. Moving on, as I said, good time and difficult times. So we all have experienced good times and we all have experienced difficult times in our life. I would request you to please write in the chat box if you feel that good times are good for us or the difficult time is good for us. Please do. What do you feel about this? Good time or the difficult time is good for us? Difficult time. Vijay says difficult times. Kishan says both good and difficult time is good for us. Good. This is a different perspective. Deepak says both. Sachin says both. Difficult times, good times. No, it happens. Very good. Brijesh says no innovation happens in good time. Neeraj says it's perception, rather both. Good. So the point, I think most of us are on the same, but it is how we look at things. Manoj says difficult time is also good for us. Do we learn from this time? Very good. So this is what we are just saying. I am just reminding, we all know all these things, but the issue is when it comes, we just miss some time. Whenever we are happy, I'm sure it is a good time for us. When we feel being loved, we say it is good time. Success, confidence, harmonious relationship, health, all these things makes us good. And therefore we feel good about that. However, the other side of the story is that when we are happy, it makes us lazy and indisciplined. The day we are very happy, next day morning, we don't want to go for a jog or don't want to do any of our routine exercises even. When we are being loved, we feel pampered. When we are successful, that success makes us egoistic, that there is nobody who's better than me. The confidence makes us arrogant because now that I'm confident, I can do the things, so I become arrogant. Harmonious relationship is that we take it for granted. In fact, this is the point, Neeraj, we were talking about. Yes. I would be writing more on this, on the interpersonal relationships that we are having in our family and in our work. Because 90% time we spend with our family, immediate family, or with our professional field. Profession also, the immediate superior and the team that we have worked with.
Absolutely. I think a lot to be discussed on relationships.
Maybe some time later.
Yes,
and
yes.
Of course, health, we take it very casually. If we do not take, if we have worked on our immunity, then there is no corona which can bother us. So the point is, I am saying good time is good for us, but then good times make us not so good. Whereas difficult time is, there we remember God, prayer, faith, everything. And in fact, today all temples are closed, but I am sure everybody is praying every day. कबीर दास जी ने सही कहा है, दुख में सुमिरन सब करें, सुख में करे ना कोई, जो दुख में दुमिरन करे सो दुख काहे का होए. सही बात है. Meaning what? That we all pray when there is a difficult time. And I'm sure today, I don't want to discuss much, but then this is the point, that in difficult times, we all remember about God, prayers, faith. We become more sincere because we need to prove ourselves that, okay, I have to come out of this. We become more disciplined. we become more humble, and start putting more effort because we want to really come out of those difficult times. And last and not the least, we do our best because we have to come out. That is the human nature. People cannot be there or succumb to those pressures. We have to come out. So the point is, this is a difficult time which get best out of us, and I'm sure most of you have echoed this thought, and which is a very good point that we all are on the same page, that this is the difficult time which will get best out of us. So let us try to give our best. And that is true for leadership as well. Now, if you say leadership in good times is like this: rowing a boat in a serene atmosphere of a lake, wherein as a leader you can talk, your team is ready to listen, and everything is a hunky-dory, and I mean, leadership is very easy, good. However, in difficult time, leadership is like whitewater rafting. When if a leader want to tell people and your team is also willing to listen to you, they cannot, because of so much of noises are there in the atmosphere. The people life is also, including you, is at risk. And by the way, the condition in which today we are in is almost this. May not be physically, but psychologically, because there are so much of noises in our mind today. What will happen because of this uncertainty? What will happen? And it is there with both, with the leader, with the people also. And therefore, communication is a real challenge. And that is what we are going to address in our session from now onward. So the point is, it is a turbulent time which makes or which builds great leaders. Right from, I would like to give some of the examples like Mahatma Gandhi, who became a great leader only after when he has faced adversities in South Africa. Winston Churchill, when he faced the Second World War, and that's where he became a great leader. Abraham Lincoln, the American Civil War, only after that he became a true great leader. Subhash Chandra Bose, when he decided that he has to fight for the freedom of India, he became a great leader. So the point is, all great leaders have become great in the turbulent times only. So this gives us a real opportunity, because we are in an uncertain time, we are in a turbulent time, and that will help us become a great leader. So this is an opportunity that, I mean, God has presented to us, I would say. Now, question is how. So now onward, we will discuss how we can become a great leader. Moment you see all these goal, priority, and initiative, you will say, what is new in it? As a leader, I know it. I'm using these things for long. And I fully agree with you. But the issue in today's current uncertain time is that people, the individuals, they may know their goal, their priority, their initiative, but because people are working in isolation, the team priorities may be lost. The team goals, it's very difficult to achieve because people are working in isolation. Now, earlier, we used to say that people are working in silos, which used to be negative connotation, and we used to say that people should not work in the silos, they should come together and work together. But unfortunately, because of the conditions today, wherein people are working from home, this has become a necessity, or this has become a reality. In that condition, individual goals, priorities, and initiative people might be working on, but as a leader, it's a big challenge for all of us to get them together on board to work towards the team goal, team priorities, and the team initiative. And that is a challenge that we need to focus on. And now we will talk about some of the best practices that we have always, wanted. And this is something like micromanagement. Now, before I go to micromanagement, I would like to speak a word about management. Whether you are aware or not, I would share that this word called manager has been taken. Somebody wants to say something? Ishan, can you be on mute?
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
So, this word called manager has come from a French word called manage. The meaning of manage is dressing exercise of horses. I mean, this is how, I mean, the way horses were trained to do those exercises in the circus, from there this word was derived. Somehow, some of us keep practicing the same in real life as well. And more, I think you can, I would like to discuss a little later, but then in today's topic, I would like to talk about the micromanagement that we do. As you all know, Herzberg had said, close supervision is a demotivator, but somehow we keep doing that. If as a leader, we are reluctant to empower our team members, if we have a doubt on the credibility or capability of our team members, if we have a doubt on the integrity of the person, or freedom to perform, we keep hearing this thing, do it either my way or highway, those kind of things, those were all demotivators. More on this you can read in my book, Why My Horse Doesn't Drink. But right now the point what I'm talking, that these are the points which every time, whether it's certain or uncertain, these are the issues which demotivates and which does not allow a leader to get the work done by the team the way they expect. However, in today's scenario, this becomes much more crucial, because when people are not there in front of you, you need to believe on these things. Otherwise, this micromanagement will take us to a place wherein we will truly become micromanager. And I have seen this thing. I like to give a practical example wherein my son is working, like say he's working for Swiggy for last 4 years, and he is in ASM. These days he is staying with me and working from home. So I am seeing the way the micromanaging is done. The 11:30 in the night, the meeting gets over. 2:40 midnight, the mail is flashed by the manager. 8 o'clock in the morning, he just got up and he was just getting ready. At that time, he gets another mail which says, why the hell you have not responded to my mail? Now, there cannot be a better example than of these. And this is what people are. The point what I'm saying is that when you do too much of inspection, you get only the inspected job done and not the expected job. So point what we are saying, discussing is, this is something which has changed, like, just a minute. And in today's scenario, now the things have changed. When you write ASAP, EOD, all these things, like we used to write mails with a bold letter, sometimes red also I have seen, and people are writing and then they want ASAP or by EOD, you should respond. All these mails, they further aggravate the situation. By the way, you know ASAP, we have heard this as soon as possible. Today, the meaning have changed. Today the meaning is after sweeping and pocha, or even end of dishwashing. Again, on a lighter note, but the point is, you never know people are in what situation. And on top of that, if you are writing such mails, this is only leading to issues. The point I am saying, no to email. This is the perfect time we should say yes to phone. So I am saying, if your person is not giving you response on time, instead of writing mails and mails and mails, why don't you pick up the phone, speak to him that what is wrong or how is he, rather than saying that why have you not responded? Because in any case, as I said in my son's case, in the night, 11:30 the meeting got over, you expect the person to respond to you 8 o'clock, and you are writing yourself a mail in the midnight. Is that going to help? And that too when the people are not together. So question is, have trust. People, they say, like one of the reasons for writing reminders is basically because we do not have trust that persons are working or person will deliver. The issue is today that people are expecting that nobody like work from home, meaning he is enjoying work at home. But that is not the case. We have to have trust in our people. responsibility beats empowerment. Unless we share responsibility to the people, people will not feel empowered. And once people, they take up the responsibility, they will be feeling empowered, and then only they will be able to deliver. And I'm sure here I would like to remind about Douglas McGregor theory Y, which says people are responsible and they like or they love to take responsibilities. So I would expect that as a leader, we have to give responsibility, and so as people, they feel empowered and they deliver what is expected from them. This is a perfect time for us to practice empathy. Now, empathy is again a very common word, very commonly used. However, I have seen that most of us, again, this is a very august gathering with the responses that you are giving me. I am getting this message. However, I would still like you to please share your thought, just one-liner in chat box about empathy, as to what do you feel about empathy? What is empathy? Yeah. View from others' point of view, understanding her situation, giving comfort, Satyendra says. Yes, Satyendra, you are right that giving comfort, but unfortunately, unless we empathize, the person will not feel comfortable. Being considerate, taking care, listening by heart, show that you are care. Great. So again, as I said, you all are a different audience, and therefore you are giving me responses that not only you understand empathy, but you also understand what to do and how to empathize.
Manoj Maurya raising hand.
Yeah, Manoj. Naveen says, forgetting professionalism. Again, I mean, these are debatable topics and we cannot go much in empathy today because our topic is slightly different and we have limited time. However,
we have two hands raising.
So, Manoj, should we have it as a question or should we have it now? Manoj says,
Manoj, you want to say something?
Trying to take sympathy. Okay, cool.
Okay, fine.
Cool. So what you are saying, sympathy from other side, basically this is the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is when you feel bad about the person, about his situation, about his condition, about his state of mind, etc. Whereas sympathy and empathy, the difference is that empathy is to exactly feel like the person. I am sure you must have heard this phrase very often, that empathy means going into the shoes of other persons. But the issue here is that most of the time we do not go into the, or we cannot go into the other person's shoes unless we remove our own shoes. So this is where is Bharat, what you are saying is right. Understand the circumstances in the person at the moment, but this you will be able to understand only when you will feel like the person, when you go into his shoes. And the point what I am saying is you cannot go into the other person's shoes unless you remove your own shoes. Means unless you keep your perception, your biases separately, and then think about the situation from the person's point of view. Otherwise, what happens? Most of the time we are thinking from our side. Yes, Bharat. So thanks for showing this thumbs up. So the point what I'm saying is that empathy is, and I will give you, let's not have some hypothetical, I'll give you how to empathize in today's condition, because that will be much more appropriate. So move on. These are the situations, like I would say, good, Ashish said that, I mean, you have echoed my thought, is the best example is phone call instead of sending email. That is again is a process, but just continue. The point that I said, there is a lot of distraction today. Though we were just saying jhadu pocha and then dishwashing and all, but is it a reality or not today? Something happens right now. We are having this webinar. If somebody comes on the door and the doorbell rings, somebody has to go. Yes, Vandana, these are again, try to meet them personally is right. But the point I am saying is, in today's situation, when there are so much of distraction and when there are so much of limitation, like you cannot go and meet person, they are having a lot of distraction in terms of physical distractions, like uh, they are working from home. Not everybody has a separate room from where they are working. The children, I have seen some webinars wherein people are being cautioned that ladies, please feed the child before attending the webinar, all those kind of things. And I'm sure that is also happening when you are having a virtual meeting. So there are, and then distraction is not only physical, even the mental noises are there, which are leading to the distraction. The another area that we have to empathize is that collaboration, the lack of collaboration. In an office, when somebody is working, it's very easy that if I need a detail, I just simply gets up, walk to the other person. I go there, I ask him, "Hey, give me that file, give me that detail. What do you think about that?" All those kind of small collaboration examples that we get, which we take it for granted that in a daily day-to-day office, we were getting this. But today, for everything, you have to call somebody, you have to ask for email and all those things. So there is a limitation there. Then there is a loneliness. Now, I mean, we say that somebody's mic is on. Can you please put it on mute? Thanks. So loneliness, again, in this atmosphere, because when we are not used to, human beings are social animals. In an office, going to in an office is like, it's just not that we are working there, we are working with people. But today, when I am not there for 3 months, I am staying alone. I am only talking to me. So that is creating a loneliness. Not being able to unplug. See, in an office, when we are working, we simply walk. We just go this thing. Maybe after 2 hours of working, we feel like having a cigarette puff or maybe a tea or something like that. We ask somebody, team members, and we go out and we chat, we take tea and we just unplug, and we come back again and we are charged and we start working together. Point what I'm making is that our people are working in such a situation. We need to empathize with them. That these are the problems that they are facing, these are the challenges that they are facing, and how to then behave with them, that becomes more of. And last and not the least is the most important is our communication. So in turbulent time, we need to be highly visible. Now I understand that there is a limitation that because we do not have a direct access to the people now. We'll discuss how. We will how to address this also we will discuss, but currently I am saying limiting to the communication is that in uncertain times, we need to communicate openly and honestly. Often people want to listen from the leader and not from the spokesperson. Even like there is going to be a layoff or there may be some other information that people like, there may be a salary cut down or maybe whatever, like say, I mean, there are situations which we are hearing. It is always good that as a leader, the business head, the CEO should speak. It should not be delegated to HR. HR is only a spokesperson in this situation. So I always believe as a leader, we should take lead. Engage in open communication to share information and ideas. And people should know that their voices are heard. These are the few tips for communication, more when we will discuss about the actions. Now, one more important area that we will say, this is again true for both certain as well as uncertain time, but more required in uncertain time now. See, this is nature has created that whenever there is a stimulus, there is a response in our body or there is a reaction from our body. For example, if your hand suddenly touches a hot surface, your hand is taken away from the place. Why? Because that is a reflex mechanism body has created so that that harm should not taken to our hand. And this is unfortunately while dealing with people, we are reacting because of our moods and feeling. At this juncture, I would like to introduce a concept, the Newton's third law of motion, which I have created or renamed as Newton's law of motivation. It is a Newton's law of third law of motivation is that there is always a reaction to the action what we are having. So to every action, there is a reaction which is equal and opposite. And because of which what happens, we get a mail and we start reacting to that email and we want to write immediately. If a person has written something which is uncomfortable, I want to write as a stinging mail because I am the boss. And that creates the situation further. Because now as a condition, when you do not have liberty, that at least next day you can meet the person and can clarify. Because whatever you have written, mail has already gone. So the point is that this, between this stimulus and reaction, there is what we call as freedom to choose. And when we choose freedom, our freedom to choose, what we give is a response and not a reaction. It is a well thought. In fact, I would like to narrate an anecdote from the Gita, wherein Arjun asked Krishna Bhagavan that Keshav, aap itne sthiti pragya kaise reh lete? Means, how can you be so steadfast? I have never seen elated in a happy moment, or I have never seen you sad in a sorrow moment. How can you be so steadfast? To which Krishna ji says, because I act and I do not react. Action is always controlled. It is in the hands of the person, whereas reaction is always uncontrolled. So my sincere advice to all our leaders is that I'm sure my team who's there with me now, that I say, thanda karke khana chahiye. Because anything which you do as a reaction is always, I mean, it is like eating a hot food which may burn your food. So the point is that please take time. If you are, yes, thanks Kishan for recalling and remembering that, because I always say that even if you are writing a mail, please write a mail. You want to write a stinging mail, write that stinging mail, but please do not send it. Put it in the draft box. Next day morning, read it again. If you still feel like sending it, send it, because then it's a response. If it is not, 9 out of the 10 times, I'm sure you will say that you don't feel like writing that mail. And that's where I say that you will give a response rather than reaction, because reactions are harmful to both to us as well as to our team members. Now I think this is the time which explains this VUCA word. I'm sure all of you are aware, so I would straight away move on, that this is VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. However, as I mentioned in the beginning, that this is a word called VUCA. Now we have to change this VUCA word. So let's think of what we can do with the alphabet V. Volatility is what? It is uncertain. It is suddenly it erupts, something happens. Volatile. We have, I mean, mostly use this word in our chemical reaction, that this is a very volatile chemical reaction, from where we have taken it into our human interaction. So what we know now, this V, that the volatile, we can change by vision. And here, the meaning of our vision, I am not talking about that long-term vision as to where you want your company or your department, all those vision. I am simply saying the meaning of vision here is put why before what. Tell people why should they be doing this work and not what they should be doing. Because when you say what they are supposed to do, there is a, I mean, resistance. But when you tell them why they should be doing, people are responsible. Again, go back to the responsibility beats empowerment. People will feel empowered because you are giving them a reason that why they should work this thing, and they will deliver. So if we can change volatile through your vision by putting why before what. Moving on to the next, and that is U. U is uncertain. Now, uncertainty, as we discussed, breeds fear. Now, this is the time when we discuss, like, we need to do empathy. We have to, we have seen those challenges which people are facing. Why can't we acknowledge and listen to those challenges? Because once you start acknowledging that yes, people are facing challenges and therefore there might be a delay. And people, if you start listening to issues, what they are facing, not everybody always like to give justifications. So what I'm saying, in other words, if we can change you with understanding, if we start understanding their issue, Vandana, you were on dot. This is what I always say, wise man thinks alike, or wise person thinks alike. So understanding, that we start understanding, I am sure we will be able to change the uncertain, because that will remove the fear. Now, the third is C, and the C is complex. Now, what is the antonym of complex? What is the antonym of complex? Can you write there? Simple, creative, clarity. Neeraj, good. So, Neeraj, your first response was simple, but if you go into the Oxford Dictionary, it is the third antonym. The first one is what you have written now is the clarity. The first one is clarity, the simple is third. So the point what I am making is that if we can make this complex is, can we provide clarity to people? If you can provide them the purpose and the vision of yours as to why you are asking people to do something, again going back to what we discussed about the vision. So if we can give this clarity, straightforward, Raghu, you are right. If you can say clarity, that will help people to change this thing, and means they will become much more comfortable. And A is ambiguity. Now, how can we do ambiguity? Ambiguity is people are undecided what to do, what not to do. And how can we say, if as a leader, we are willing to make changes on the fly, instead of waiting, we will discuss this more on later, but agility. If we as a leader are agile, if we are ready to take actions at the go, I'm sure we will be able to change. So this is the word I want each one of us to have, is we stand for vision instead of volatile, understanding in terms of uncertainty, clarity in place of complex, and agility in place of ambiguity. I'm sure we will be able to do good. But again, I'm sure you will have a question in your mind, how to practice this VUCA. Especially the word that we discussed, VUCA word, wherein we are talking about vision, we are talking about understanding, we are talking about clarity and agility, how to practice this. For this, I would share a 6-step action plan, which I'm sure each one of us you will find easy and effective way. The first one is the reassure. As a leader, we have to reassure that we are self-certain, because as we discussed, uncertain time, people are fearful. The first response is that people are fearful. I know as a leader, we are also vulnerable, but we need to have a belief in our own self-certainty, because leadership is all about self-leadership. Unless we practice all these things, what we are talking, it doesn't help us. People are in a situation wherein people are feeling anxious. As a leader, we need not to fuel that anxiety. We have to give them relief. In fact, there is a research by Stanford University wherein they said that people who are high on self-certainty, they can remain calm and they can also make other people feel calm. And the otherwise also is true. So the point we are saying is, as a leader, we have to be self-certain. The question is how? This is again, yes, Manoj. What you are saying is that time of work planning and assignment within team member, we need to follow the same. Cool. So the point we are discussing is anxiety is inversely proportional to cognition. Now, this is a research by David Rock of Neuro Leadership Institute, wherein he has found that anxiety is inversely proportional to cognition. In fact, there is another research, I am forgetting that person name, who has done this, the research, wherein they found that when amygdala is the, you know, all this, that this is the seat of emotions, where all this anxiety and everything is felt by a person, is when that area of the brain is active, the neocortex, which is our thinking mind, the activity goes down. So there is a direct, correlation which is found by medically, research, that if a person is anxious, his power of thinking goes down. So as a leader, we have to work on his anxiety. He will take care of his cognition, he will take care of his work. Again, if you can tell him why it will reduce anxiety, he will be able to deliver what is required. But we should not focus on what. The second point, be the emotional thermostat. See, people during this time, they are hungry for reassurances because they are not assured. As a leader, we have to give them the reassurances, and we have to become the emotional thermostat. In fact, if you are interested more on reading this, I would expect you to read one of the LinkedIn posts. You can go to my LinkedIn page and then can find out my LinkedIn post, Leaders, the emotional thermostat. I have discussed the whole issue because paucity of time I can't discuss. But the point is, we have to become an emotional thermostat. In the sense, what a thermostat does, it maintains the temperature. Same way, when people are anxious, when people are not feeling assured, we have to provide them the reassurances that, okay, things are bad, but I am there with you. That is the time when we have to be grounded in these values like integrity, optimism, courage, purpose, compassion, as a leader ourselves. And to our people, we have to tell them that we are there. But this will only happen when people, because this is again true, people, they love power of your example versus example of your power. Can you mention this thing? What do you mean by this? Anybody? Would you like to decode this word or this sentence? Power of your example versus example of your power.
Is it like actions speak louder than words?
Absolutely. So when you say power of your example means lead from the front, Ashish, you are right. Absolutely, you are right. But the point here, lead from the front, is again like the example that you are setting in. So power of your example means what people they see you doing rather than example of your power, what they listen to you. So Brijesh, you are saying don't say your power as example, but be exemplary. Very right. So the point here is that people, they believe a leader in what they do, not what they say. So if your examples are good, people have seen you working in that, I am sure they will follow your footsteps easily. The second action plan is foster connection, shared sense of purpose. What I mean by this, make yourself visible, do a virtual town hall. I know that there is a limitation, we can't connect so far, but then the way like earlier we used to do classroom training, now we have found out the method of these webinars, at least we are reaching. I know there are limitations. Similarly, can we have a virtual town hall? But again, this virtual town hall may be for a CHRO or a CEO kind of person. Now, if I'm a middle line manager, if I am an immediate man, like say, even a frontline manager, instead of doing a town hall, at least I can have a huddle, the video huddle. If I can decide that every day in the morning at 9 a.m., 10 a.m., whatever is convenient to the team, we'll have it for 10 minutes huddle. Now, the purpose of this huddle is not to check what you have not done. It is not for review. It is more to interact with the person, that how are they, how was the yesterday, because today everybody is uncertain. So how was your yesterday? Are there any fear? Are there any emotion that you would like to share? Means it is more for knowing each other, building relationship rather than reviewing the work. And that will help you to develop a better connection with your team. The third action plan is act inclusively, lead from the heart, not just the head. I'm sure each one of you are aware of this left brain, right brain, that left brain keep telling us thinking logically, whereas the right brain is more about emotion. Why I am saying so? Because relationship is the currency of influence and leadership is all about influence. A leader does nothing except for influencing. If I, as a leader, if I can influence my followers, they will do whatever I want. But for that, I need to have a relationship which people they feel comfortable, and then only they will be influenced. This is the time when we should avoid finger pointing, stereotyping, and isolating others. As such, this is not required ever. This is absolute no-no. But in this situation, this will further aggravate the situation. Remember, we are fighting with virus and not human versus human. We are not fighting with humans. So the point is, let people know that we are or you are with them. So as a leader, we should know that things are not working. Things are going in a different direction, but they should not worry because as a leader, I am with you. That confidence will help you and to reassure them. The next action is risk over communication. Bring everyone along. Now, earlier we used to say that over communication is bad because that creates confusion. People should not, we need not to over communicate. But this is the time, uncertain time, when we need to be upfront and transparent and as frequent as we can. Nothing wrong, because this will help us to reduce the speculation. It will help us to reduce the rumors. Tell people what you are doing and why, instead of them to find out from the people, other people, and talking and getting those rumors there. It is better that people should know what you are doing and why. Like there is a, I mean, if we say layoff, wherever in a company there was a layoff, I am talking about layoff because that is the most dangerous thing one can happen in professional life. And if it is happening, then people should listen to it from you, not from others. Keep conversation focused on facts and data. Now I'll give you an example is like if there is a layoff, as a manager I can go like say I'm attended the management meeting wherein it was told 13% people will be laid off or has to be laid off, otherwise we can't survive. I come out of that meeting, I walked into my team, I call my team, everybody come in the meeting room, and I say, look, I just attended this meeting and we have to lay off 13%. So be ready for that. That could be one way of communicating the message. The other could be that I come out and maybe not immediately, maybe after some time, maybe if it was in the morning, maybe in the evening, I call everybody that let's have some discussion. People still know that you are what you are going to discuss because you have attended a meeting in the morning. And then you say that I'm sure you are aware of the condition of the company. You are aware about the situation which is happening around in the market. So things are difficult. And of course, there might be a, right, Manoj, we are discussing this. Thanks for reassuring that this thing. The point we are saying is that this is a bad time. I know that there might be a layoff also, but don't worry, I am there with you and I'll keep you posted. Point is, you are still talking of facts and figures. Like you say that there may be, like say, there may be a layoff. Because layoff, you just cannot, because you try to push it back. That will not also help. Be ready for that. Neha says, what 3 and 4 point is not net error? So, can you be a little more specific, Neha, in this?
Maybe she missed the point number 3 and 4. So due to internet connection, so she's requesting to flash the slide once again.
Okay. So should we? So the point is, like in 3, what we are talking about, relationship is the currency of influence. Avoid finger pointing, stereotyping, or isolating others. believe in your relation, try to build relationship, because we are not fighting with human, we are fighting with only virus. Let people know as a leader you are with them. And the point number 4, what we are talking about is risk over communication, because earlier we used to say that we should not over communicate because that confuses people. However, in this situation, it is important that we need to communicate, but how to communicate? Be upfront and transparent. Tell people what you are going, doing and why, and keep conversation focused on facts and data. तो वो घुमाने फिराने वाली बात नहीं है. Be very clear that there is a layoff, it will be laid off, people will be laid off. But not audible, Vandana, can you? Others, am I?
Yeah, very loud and clear here. Maybe Vandana has some local internet issue.
So the point is, if we do all these things, we will avoid speculation. The biggest issue in this situation is that when people, they start thinking on their own, then they start connecting with other people to know what is happening in the organization. That leads to speculation, that leads to rumor, which is not a right thing. So therefore, in an uncertain time, a leader must communicate often to clarify. People can ask. Thanks, Neha. Now, show decisiveness. Beware of waiting for clarity. The point is, you have to take a decision. We can't wait for getting all the clarity in the world, because unless there is everything is known to me, I will not take a decision. Earlier we say always used to weigh the pros and cons and all, then take a decision. But in an uncertain time, you have to believe in on your gut. The one word that makes a good leader, this is what Lee Iacocca said, that makes a good leader is decisiveness. So leader has to be decisive, and in uncertain time, all the more. Make the best decision with what you know. Instead of waiting for everything to be clear, I will take a decision. Whatever you have, there are chances of mistakes, but then take a decision with what you know, and then when you know more, make a new decision, rather than waiting for everything to be known. Uncertain times required bold and decisive leadership. I would like to give another few examples, the general examples which people have seen. If on that day, Mrs. Gandhi have not taken that decision of Operation Blue Star, in next to Pakistan, we would have a Khalistan as well, by the way. If Mr. Narendra Modi would not have taken this decision of lockdown, then the number of cases might have crossed Italy or anywhere in India. Now that we are experiencing, even after having this lockdown, the numbers are increasing. So the point is, as a leader, I know a leader has to take, because he has taken that decision at that time, not thinking about the economy as to what will happen to economy, but he has taken that action because of his first priority was to take care of people's life, and that he has taken with whatever information we have. So the point again, we have to think from our perspective is that in uncertain times, we need a bold and decisive leadership. So we need to be bold. We need to take a decision as early as we can. And last and not the least, practice agility as we discussed about VUCA. Build the organizational resilience. How? By being proactive, find creative ways to solve challenges. Brainstorm new approaches to become competitive, and learn, innovate, re-engineer, and be creative. Take the example of typical like Zomato and Swiggy. You all know that Zomato and Swiggy, they were only supplying food. And because of this lockdown, their number orders have gone down to almost 0. I know for sure because my son works there. I know the percentage of orders also. I can't say anything now. The point I'm saying is, what they immediately took advantage, the day they came to this, that there are essential items need to be supplied. Even before the shops were open, they have started connecting to the shopkeepers and they have onboarded them. They are now supplying all the essential items. So they started supplying immediately. So point is, you need to change your business model. And that is what is like, say, you need to be innovative, you need to re-engineer, you need to be creative. Now today, that has become a separate business vertical for them. That they are supplying essential goods. Now they are supplying fruits, they are supplying daily use goods and everything. So today, Zomato and Swiggy have become as good as Amazon or Flipkart. So the point is, we have to take the advantage of time for getting closer to our customer. Because ultimately, the objective of all of us that we have to get closer to the customer, because customer is ultimately responsible for giving us the business or keeping us in the business. So this is action, and I'm sure this will help you. First of all, as a leader, we need to be reassured. We have to believe in our own self-certainty. We need to foster connection through a shared sense of purpose. We need to act inclusively, lead from the heart and not just the heart. Risk over communication, bring everyone along. Show decisiveness, beware of waiting for clarity. Instead of keep waiting for the clarity, we need to take a decision and practice agility, bring. So that's all what I had for the today's session. These are my few books which you can order through Amazon or Flipkart. And I have a YouTube channel called vivekmehrotra.com. In case you are interested to watch few more videos, you can go there on vivekmehrotra.com, can subscribe and can watch my videos. These are my coordinates. I would love you to get in touch with me. Thank you very much. That's all. Over to you, Neeraj.
Yeah, thank you, Manoj. Thank you, Vivek. Great. I think very exciting session. If any questions, any doubt which you want to get clarified, you're most welcome. And I can also see many of our friends have joined us who could not join on Zoom. They are watching us on live Facebook screens. And like that, Mr. Shailesh Modi, who is the HR person at Torrent Power, he has also asked a question that in this situation, what kind of leadership style you suggest? He asked this question a little early. Maybe by now, if he's online, he could have got the answer that what kind of leadership. So anything you would like to say that, because I know there's not one style of leadership. So, but Shailesh Modi is asking question that what kind of leadership style is appropriate in this times.
You can unmute. Shailesh, you can unmute. Shailesh, you can unmute. Come on your video. Good to see you after a long time. We met.
Friends, now
Shailesh?
you can come and show up. You can switch on your videos at least. And those who want to talk, ask any question, please unmute yourself and be there.
I think Shailesh is not there.
No, Shailesh was watching us from Facebook Live.
Okay,
so
okay.
And typed a question on the mobile phone on the WhatsApp chat, and then I was reading his question. I think it was for me. It was quite a learning session. Like I was actually trying to understand more on the empathy and actually trying to see that how to get into the shoes of others and feel their feelings and understand their situation. That's one. Communication tips were very, very useful for this session. One realization that good time is not always good to be considered, but bad time teaches us, it makes us more humble and more polite and all. So very good understanding on stimulus versus response, stimulus versus reaction. Yes, next time I would hold on myself and I would rather act rather than reacting. So I would focus on the reactions. So that's what are the quick learning. So anybody else would like to say something? I can read some of the chats which are quite encouraging. Thanks for arranging. Sonal Kumar Arora, who is from Adani, is mentioning that thanks for arranging and getting opportunity to hear Vivek ji. Bharat Singh saying thanks Neeraj and Vivek. A wonderful session. Getting in another webinar. Okay.
I think people are looking for recordings and the.
Yes, yes, yes. So you can find me for the follow up or you want to share. I would be sharing the Facebook links in this. You can either find me or Vivek. You'll find the live recording of this session. So that's great. Now for some time, what I will do, I will share my screen to take it further. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
All right. So these days I'm working on the life balance method, and yes, of course, I come from corporate background, so more imbalances of the work. That's what I am focusing on these days, and so some of the things which I am trying to address in these webinars are that play your to your strengths. Don't try and be all things to all people. Can't make everyone happy, so just be your best, prioritize your time, know your peaks and throws, plot some personal time, have set work hours and stick to the time, and find time for your finances to balance and manage your time. So these are a few things which trying to strike. So it's a time where COVID-19 situation during and after, I think is calling all of us for Punarnirman, means remodel, renew, and reinvent, where Vivek session was very much useful for all the business leaders here, and very, very handy and practical tips. And I don't find any challenge that any of the things which you talked was a jargon or complex to apply. Um, so we really